Oh, I didn't see you there. Welcome to Mitten Music. Podcast about a couple of guys who live in Michigan, talk about music, kind of relate it all together. It's awesome. Check it out. So how the heck are you guys?
Well, we're doing pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah?
I'm doing okay.
I'm feeling freaking awesome today.
Yeah, you should have seen him at practice. He was an animal.
Well, right before I got to practice, I had someone hit me up with a picture on my messenger, and it was a watercolor of me from our last show.
What?
I felt like Nicole Kidman from Titanic. I was like, okay, awesome. Or wait,
That's
no, was that Nicole Kidman? That was
No, Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet. I felt like Kate
There you
Winslet
go.
from Titanic. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then I started practice.
You had clothes on, though.
Yeah, I had clothes on in there.
That's someone painted you a watercolor painting of yourself. How cool is that?
That I was riding the high. I still am a little
Dude,
bit.
that's legit.
Yep. That's awesome.
Did you have a particular pose, or what was the deal?
Yeah, it was like
Lean back, clicking on the fuzz.
It was a live action shot.
Yeah.
yep.
Sweet.
Heck yeah. Well, anybody just tuning in or turning their little podcast app on or whatever, if you haven't figured it out, we're talking to none other than Carbon Decoy of Michigan, the east side. When you guys say, like, where do you, I know you guys are kind of from a couple areas, you're outside of Detroit. Where do you say you're from? Do you say you're from Detroit, or do you say, it wasn't Royal Oak, it was
Earl is an out man.
whoa.
We tell people,
Casey,
we tell people that the band is from Detroit because
It makes sense.
That's where we play all of our shows. That's where, we've kind of made a name for ourselves up in Detroit. But as far as each one of us, I mean, we all live about hour and 45 minutes away.
Wow, that's
So, yeah, we're actually all, Jared and I are about half an hour, 45 minutes south of Jackson. And then
Okay.
Earl lives in Albion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're
That's
out there
right.
in farm country.
Yep.
So that I asked because I know you guys practice, you have a practice schedule, and we wanted to try to line this interview up when you had practice, because that's when you guys are together, and you practice weekly.
We do.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
So there's a drive. You guys are not only putting the effort into all the music and the shows themselves, but just practice. It's
Yeah.
effort and hours out of your week. That's all. That's not fun, but that's good for you.
Yeah,
I gotta want to do it. That's for sure.
I think you two probably live, almost an hour apart in terms of like driving.
Yeah, Earl and I probably are
40
45 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
We meet pretty much halfway.
I'm in the middle.
Practice.
I'm in the middle between those guys.
He's pretty much right in the
Okay,
middle.
Casey got lucky then.
I did.
So let's kind of start off like this. Casey, you start and just say what you do in the band and just something else. I don't care what it is. If it's about yourself, it's about art, it's about music. Say something, whether it's ridiculous, over the top, or just, hey, I woke up in a good mood today.
Oh.
Tell us what you do in the band, and then just tell us something else. And then we'll go to Earl, and then we'll go to Jared.
So I play drums and I sing in the band, and I don't know. I do. It's easier to say what I don't do because I do just about everything. So
Yeah.
everything from I rebuild amplifiers, I build speaker cabinets,
Oh,
art, photography. I just hit over 300,000 miles on my van.
Wow.
So
what kind of van is it? What kind of van? What year is the van?
it's a 1996 GMC Safari.
Dang,
So,
you are getting you're getting.
if anybody's looking for a van, get yourself an Astro van or a Safari and treat it good, and you get a lot out of them.
Sweet.
So, but
Is that
I
the
think,
bandmobile?
The only reason why I was even able to get over 300,000 miles is because I do all the maintenance to it. I do all of the mechanic work and all that. So
Mechanically inclined as well.
yeah, that's
Dang.
probably why I'm the drummer.
Yeah, that makes sense. But and you do all the artwork for the band too, right? Like The album
yeah,
cover.
so I did the artwork for the vinyl. I did the front cover. That was actually a Polaroid that I took in my kitchen. I set everything up and I took the Polaroid in my kitchen. So yeah, I do a little bit of everything.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Earl, what do you do in the band, and then something else?
I play guitar in the band, and I'm a dad to 2 kids, and I spend most of my time just dadding around, and, hanging out. But I do practice photography, a little bit of. I do Polaroids. The economy's shit right now, so it's been a little slow. But
yeah, he's got an Instagram page.
Yeah, yep.
Ooh, for photography or for yourself?
Your Uncle Earl. That's my Instagram page.
Yeah, Your Uncle Earl.
Your Uncle Earl.
Yep, and if you guys, anybody who follows me is automatically a nephew or a niece. So you guys are invited to the barbecues, everything. So
this is brilliant.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much me, though. I'm pretty.
He has some very good photography on that page.
I'm
gonna check. That's awesome.
What's your specialty, like photography? Is there certain things? Like, I feel like a lot of photographers have certain things they really like to take pictures,
like weddings or street photography,
or flowers,
or pornography.
I like taking pictures of people. I like getting, especially if I don't really know them, because I think the pictures are more real. I guess I don't know. You can tell when someone's kind of, them in a picture, they're staged, they're comfortable. I like getting pictures of people when they're like uncomfortable. That sounds crazy to say, but it just more like it's not a candid shot because they know they get their picture taken, but it's just them in a raw form. They're not preparing themselves for the picture or anything like that. That's what I like to do.
Yeah,
get pictures of people.
Sweet.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, Mr. Jared.
Yeah.
What do you do in the band? There might only be one instrument left, and then something else.
Yep, I play the bass.
No, he plays the accordion. Don't let him lie.
I wish I could play the accordion.
That'd be sweet. That'd be awesome. So what's a little something from Jared?
Yeah, so I also am a dad to 2 kids. Got a couple of dogs and a cool wife at home. So, and I like to watch baseball. That's another thing about me.
Oh, all right.
Those are about my things: music, watching baseball, and then the family.
A sports ball.
I lied.
Man.
I got kids too.
Yeah.
Aww. Who's that? What's he or she's name?
This is Nico.
Name?
She's like 8, 9 years old. I got 2 cats.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like you can't have just one animal. You gotta have 2. You gotta have 2 of them.
We got 2 gerbils. Yeah. That's what we got right now.
Have 2. You have to have one to keep the other one company.
Absolutely.
We had 2 cats, but then the one passed away last year. So
gotta get another one.
Yeah.
We just got 2 kids too.
2 kids, yeah,
for sure. Yeah, one to keep the other one company.
I got 3 kids. How'd I end up with all of them? I don't know.
What's keeping anybody company?
We didn't realize we were supposed to stop. Cool. So guys, what
for his life?
What have you been working on, music-wise? So you do shows. I mean, we see when you're coming around to the West Side, or we pay attention, and you keep up with that. I guess what I'm really leaning into is, are you working on new music?
Oh yeah.
And if you are, what can you tell us about it?
That it's new.
Yeah. Have you played any of it live?
We played a couple songs that will be on the next album live.
We have been playing. We've been playing 2 songs around. We've been playing one of the songs probably for the same duration of which, like when we actually recorded our last album. That was one of the songs that just didn't make it onto the album. Because I feel like there's always that, where you get out of the studio and then all of a sudden you write another song.
Yeah.
You're like, well, fuck. If we would have just waited a little bit longer, then we probably could have had that one on it. But no, so we've been playing around 2 songs, and all the rest of them we've been working on. I just haven't written the lyrics to them, so we haven't been playing them out.
where do you get for the lyrics specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's your inspiration for lyrics? Is it just like, I know some singers will say, I just throw words out there that I like harmonize and I figure out words and I really don't care what the words are. Some people are introspective or,
Right.
you know, they're telling a story, or some people are just like, it's just like, it's poems. Like what can you tell us about how you write lyrics, or maybe even why, but I guess the inspiration for what you're doing, how's it come out? How can you explain that?
So the way that I write lyrics is, well, I'm always writing poetry. I have tons of notebooks filled with poetry, but the way that I come up with like the lyrics, or maybe even like the vocal melodies, is when we actually practice. We're practicing our new songs. A lot of it's just me mumbling into a microphone.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it doesn't even sound like anything, or it sounds like something, but you can't make out what it is. So one thing that we do that's like really, I think kind of accelerates everything for us, is that we record all of our practices.
Oh,
so
okay.
we can go back through and listen to them. And it really helps for me, because then I can go back through, and if I had a part, you know, maybe I was like mumbling something, I can listen back to it and kind of grab inspiration and write lyrics based around that melody that I was doing. As far as the context of what the lyrics are, I mean, the last album was kind of just, I don't know, just random picking words that go well together, and I don't know, just kind of making
words
shit
and
up
phrases that you
vibes.
liked. Yeah.
Yeah. But this next album will probably have a little bit more, I don't know, more words in a song.
Well, and you can, with if anyone listening hasn't actually listened to Carbon Decoy, their music, you can get away with a little bit of not understanding what the words are, because the music is so, I mean, a word you could use, abrasive, loud, in your face,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
jarring.
Well, I feel that.
How dare?
I feel like it kind of gets, like, just because we've been a live band for so long, and even in the studio when we recorded the last album, we recorded a majority of it live. So, like, even if you don't understand any of the words, or you understand what I'm even saying, it's still, you know, it feels good. Because I feel like you go to a show and you don't understand anything of what they're saying.
Yeah, especially if it's the first time you're hearing them.
Yeah, you're not there to try to understand what the singer's saying. You're there to, you know, feel the vibes of the whole show and kind of take it all in. So I feel like this last album was probably a kind of a culmination of that, like how we've been playing live. But I definitely feel like the next album, maybe I'll put a little bit more effort into making coherent words make sense. But for the most part, a lot of it's open for interpretation. I feel like everybody could kind of get their own meaning out of it. I like that. I don't like to put too much meaning into words.
Yeah.
I don't like to be pinned down in any kind of way, you know?
Fair.
So you kind of alluded to this. It sounds like you guys really, first and foremost, was a live band. Like, that's where your love. Like, there's some bands that are just like, I love to play live. That's where sweet spot. Yes, I put together albums.
Well, actually, you know, when this band first started, it was just me and Jared, and we would get together and we would just write songs like we're gonna do some kind of like studio project, just to put out, like, you know, some songs between the two of us, because we grew up together and we went to school and graduated together. So during COVID, we got together and we were like, well, let's just come up with some shit. And then Earl kind of got roped into it. And then from there, it just turned into something like way bigger than what was expected, and just kind of ran away with it.
I don't know if roped into it was the word. I had a foot in the door.
Yeah,
definitely had a foot in the door.
Because Casey and I, we've been playing music for the better part of like 10 years together.
Yeah.
So we were in a band previously called Unknown Crow. We did an album and everything. Played live a bunch.
Yeah, so we already had that chemistry between us.
But then at the same time, I'm doing photography, and you know, it helps when you got cool friends that are always doing cool stuff. So I'd go and watch these guys play, and the couple of shows they did as a 2-piece, I'd be there and just take pictures of them and stuff. But I was always kind of like in their ear, like, you know, if you guys ever wanted a guitar player or something,
to lay some guitar on.
Yeah, and then it happened. They recorded a. Actually, I was
Atomic Number 6.
I was invited to a couple jams, and the whole time I was jamming with the guys, they were like,
"You're not."
You're not in the band. This is just. They're like, this is just like a musical exercise, and for me, that's cool because I've been in a bunch of bands like that are just didn't feel like bands, but we got together and recorded stuff and put stuff out, so it was cool. I was used to that, and then we recorded Atomic Number 6 in Jared's basement at the time, and I just got pretty much a call back from these guys. They asked me, they said, because a similar thing happened in Unknown Crow. I got kind of scouted by Casey when I was a youngin'.
I plucked him.
And I was invited to a couple jams, and then I was dropped the question, like, well, we're playing a show like in 2 days. Do you want to come play it with us? And being me, I've never said just yes. I've never been like, no, yep, let me hop on that. I like to get the material down a little bit before I just go out and play a show because I can't commit to something if I don't have a bearing on it. So
Sure.
They turned us down to play for Left Lane Cruiser.
Yeah, and these guys were gonna go play with Left Lane Cruiser, which is like a big band I used to listen to when I was a kid, off of like GTA soundtracks and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Left Lane Cruiser, they're like a 2-piece heavy blues band. They played all over the world.
Yeah, they're badass.
They had a couple hits. They had I'm blanking right now on the name, but it was on Breaking Bad and stuff like that. So
yeah,
when I was able to like just jam on stuff that I knew I could get back into on a downbeat with these guys, that's when I was like, all right, I'll play live with you because I don't want to make a fool out of them. You know what I mean? These guys got a set all together, and then they get some.
Barely, we had a set all together.
you wouldn't have even made a fool. No,
you know what I mean?
But when Jared and I played like 5 or 6 shows as a 2-piece.
Yeah,
just going for it. You know, like
just going for it.
And it was so I was playing the drums still, and what I would do is I'd have like some kind of modulated synthesizer thing going, and so he was playing bass, I was playing drums. I'd have this weird electronic synthesizer oscillator thing going, and we were pretty much doing like a 3 or 4 song set.
Yeah.
It was very stripped down. It was really super raw. Looking back on it, I'm like, that was cringy. But people
you gotta start somewhere.
I thought it was cool. Like, especially coming out of COVID, nobody was doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like a handful of, at least around here, bands that were like just came out. They were new bands. They're not even bands either. They were just recording projects. So that's what I liked about it. Everything felt new. So when these guys started doing that, I was like, I don't know, it's pretty fucking badass.
Yeah, there was a lot of bands that came out of COVID. And
like new bands?
Oh, yeah.
Newer bands, yeah.
What's some of them?
There's so many people that were isolated. Like, I feel like everybody was wanting to, like, experiment and do something different, come up with different, you know.
I hadn't played music in years until COVID.
Yeah. So that's how we formed. You know, you couldn't go to a show, you couldn't go and play any shows, so it was like, just get together and write new stuff.
Yeah, like roughly 2 years worth of that almost.
Yeah.
Maybe, or at least, I don't know. Yeah. I can't remember. Sweet. Well, we're glad you guys did do all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm trying to gauge when we picked up on who Carbon Decoy was in relation to when we started the podcast. I can't remember exactly, but I remember the first time we saw you guys, I was like, I'm in love, man. Like, this is my jam. This is my favorite kind of music. This is the kind of show I like. I like this shit. This is like my stuff. This is my stuff. You know, we talk about Michigan bands, Michigan artists.
Levitator opened that show.
Yeah.
It was an insanely cool show.
Yeah.
That was our first.
It was a freaking riot
because we hadn't heard of Levitator.
Nope.
Or you guys. I was surprised by them, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then
they're kicked out.
Yeah.
And I'd heard
I think
I heard a couple of your guys' songs. I think Sirens.
Yeah, Sirens is the one I think we heard before.
So we knew that coming in, but other than that, we hadn't seen you guys live. So, and the energy when you guys come on stage is.
What the heck is that
I
thing?
think I went into the pit.
You might have. Yeah, but yeah, there was Levitator. I think who was the second band?
Overdrive Orchestra.
Overdrive. Yeah, Overdrive.
You
You guys and then Ficus.
Then Ficus, yeah.
Yeah,
Ficus.
was that the first time we? No,
That was the second time we played with Ficus. Yeah. We had this brewery gig in Marshall.
Yeah, at Dark Horse.
Dark
Dark
Horse
Horse,
Brewery.
yeah.
And we got Ficus to come down just because I was kind of like scouting them through social media. I'm like, these guys look like they've got it together, man. Like, these guys are cool. Let's play a show with them. And so we brought them down to Marshall. It was, it was fun, but it was terrible.
It was a terrible show.
It was terrible.
Shout out Ficus.
Shout
I love
out
Ficus
Ficus.
even after
Yeah.
that.
And then they
Just not the audience not into it, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
those are the boys.
Shout out Ficus, Levitator, Overdrive Orchestra. Those guys are like, yeah, those are the homies.
The GR.
Yeah.
They welcomed us with open arms to Grand Rapids. We will love them forever for it.
Yeah.
In
In the last show we just saw when you guys came over.
All of you again.
Yeah,
Besides
Levitator.
Levitator.
Overdrive Orchestra released an album.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there.
Restless Star.
Yeah, I've seen you guys several times now.
Yeah.
But what I really wanted to say is, so we talk about a lot of different Michigan music, right? We can't just talk about the stuff I like, the type of music I like relating to Michigan, and then what Jeff likes, only what he likes relating to Michigan. We wouldn't be talking about a whole lot. We got to, talk about everybody and anybody.
Yeah.
But when there's a band coming to Grand Rapids and it's my type of jam and it's Michigan music, I'm like, yeah, baby. Oh, I just love it. It's great. So thank you guys.
A lot of really, really, really good Michigan bands.
Yeah.
Like since we've started,
Michigan's on fire.
like
I know.
we definitely got invited into Detroit with open arms. Like our introduction into that was pretty phenomenal because like we played was it Hamtramck Music Fest?
Yep, it was a Hamtramck.
Hamtramck, yeah.
And we played at
Whiskey in the Jar.
and it's this
Okay.
tiny, like it's probably, you guys don't know how big my porch is, but it's probably like the area we played in was the size of my porch. And the place, it was a decent show, but the guy that put together that, he said, I'd love to have you guys come back and play Corktown Fest. And that was like 2 months later or
It
something.
was like 6 months later. It was like October to March.
So we went back up there and we played Corktown, and that like cemented us into the Detroit scene for sure.
The glass ceiling off for sure.
Yeah.
Did Jack White call you up? Be like, hey, welcome.
No,
fellas."
even better. Caveman Frank Woodman saw us and just gave us this big old caveman hug.
Yeah, he gave me a big old kiss that
And
night too.
What?
I saw like it was
Yeah, there's a band up in Detroit called Caveman and Bam Bam, and
in Elroy.
yep, and Frank Woodman, he's been like a fixture in Detroit for years now, and he knows everybody. He like literally any great Detroit musicians. He's just so friendly.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the mayor of Hamtramck.
Yeah, he's the mayor of the Detroit music scene too.
He's not even the mayor.
Ooh.
He's the king. Yeah.
And Shelly's the queen. Shout out Shelly too for always being there. Because whenever you see Frank, you see Shelly, and it's always,
Okay.
They're incredible.
they're beautiful people.
So is Frank, how is he into, like, was he in bands or like
Yeah,
on the radio?
Bam Bam and Elroy, he fronts that.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
He
okay.
also did a family band
He had a
too.
family band.
The Woodman Family Band. They put out a Christmas album. Every Christmas,
You gotta throw it.
you gotta throw on the old Woodman Family Band. But those
And just being a fan of music in general. He's always out there. If there's
That's what it was.
going on, he's
Yeah.
there.
He
He
just becomes a
supports it.
legend by always being around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, also to talk about Detroit a little bit more, Casey and I have been playing shows, like I said, for the last better part of a decade, and it's always been down yonder. You know what I mean? We'd hit Ohio every now and again, and
We played when Earl and I were in the last band. We played a ton of terrible fucking shows.
Yeah. like cutting our teeth on cement. It was terrible.
So like the two of us have spent a lot of time, you know, putting in a lot of work for not a whole lot of pay and not a whole lot of recognition. And, you know, and it wasn't until like when Jared and I started this, like Jared is the fucking mastermind when it comes to networking and all of that stuff. Like he's the reason why you guys are doing this with us right now.
Fair enough.
Because I am not tech savvy. I'm not a big social media person, and I don't think Earl's very social media.
I'm not.
I think it's more like the running the business. I mean, we treat the business, and you know, we want to be professional. I mean, we want to have fun. Absolutely, that's priority. But you know, to take the next step, you got to be professional too, and you got to, you know, present yourself like a professional band if you want to get on these better shows and play with these better bands.
He's very business savvy.
Good.
That's great. I mean, you need that. Like you said, you definitely need that. So what are some of the, how have you guys seen the Detroit scene change maybe since COVID? I know venue wise, is venues changed? And you sounds like there's more bands out there. What's going on the Detroit side? We don't always hear enough over there, sitting over here on the west side. So
like what Jared said, we weren't really a part of it. I mean, I still kind of have like an imposter syndrome, even saying that you know, we base the band out of Detroit or whatever. But like nobody moves like Detroit moves in a show. Like we've played shows in the Midwest area kind of, and I'm just realizing that Detroit is a different type of animal. When the band starts, no matter if they're an opening band from 3 states away, the majority of the crowd chucks their cigarettes in the ashtray and they get in there and they shake their ass. And Grand Rapids is nice too. They're like that, but in a different sense. Detroit, I mean, man, I don't want to seem like pretentious or anything, but like we go to cities and they play and you see people in the crowd and they're like clicking up. You can see who came with who, and you know, just by body language. In Detroit, you could see 2 people just dancing together and they met that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at the show.
Yeah.
It's like that's the vibe, and I think that's why I'm so honored to be just playing in that area. And
when you
based
go
it out of
there,
that area.
when you go there, you can tell that people just really, really love music. They really love rock and roll music. You know, there's a lot of history to Detroit rock and roll. So I feel like everybody that's in Detroit is, you know, if you're in a band, you're trying to honor that. So like everybody there goes hard as fuck.
And the bar is set so high.
Everybody's really, really good.
Yeah.
There's not a bad I wouldn't say there's a bad band coming out of the city right now. Everybody's got their own thing going, and as far as I can tell, it's all connected. Like there's not. There are, you know, you got like the high rollers or whatever, but I feel like there's such a community feeling that it's like show swapping, it's showing up to other people's shows, buying merch, and there are pockets of that around, but it's like
all love.
It's all love there, all love.
But there's also a sense of like competition.
Yeah, friendly competition for sure.
Because it's like when we started going up there, it was like, okay, we have to prove ourselves. And I feel that every time we go out and play, you know, we give 100%. But something about Detroit, it makes you want to give a little bit more, you know, just to prove people
when you're sitting on a bill with shout out Glass Chimera, and you know those boys are about to bring it, so don't get on there, don't get on stage and get your ass kicked. Like you better bring it too.
No,
sure, you know? And I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Not only that, you got the ghost of fucking like Wayne Kramer hanging over your shoulder, saying you got to rip it or get the fuck off the stage.
Yeah. You got toeheads that are about to play before you, and it's like
it really
you know, they're gonna body that stage up, so you better turn around and body it back up too.
Yeah. That's awesome. So give us at least one band, one Detroit band that we should kind of be on the lookout for. At least if you got more, that's great.
The one I just said, Glass Chimera.
Glass Chimera.
I mean, Michigan be damned. They're one of my favorite bands out right now. I love those guys. It helps that awesome. I know how awesome of people they are too. Shout out Aaron, Dom, and Scott. Yeah. But I mean, they're awesome people. But that band will just blow you away. Listen to it tonight as soon as we hang up. Like.
Glass Chimera. Yeah. Glass Chimera. I like it.
The song Wishing Well has been on my work fucking playlist for a while since it came out. I jam that on a high-low every night, dude.
Like it?
Yeah, they're just like phenomenal musicians.
Excellent.
Sweet.
And excellent people.
Yeah, but that's
Cool.
just Glass Chimera. If we had to pick out a band, I would say that's the one. But they're like the list is endless.
Yeah, like we just played with the Lucid Furs. The Lucid Furs are, super tight band.
I could name like 10 off.
Yeah,
the top of my head
honestly,
right now.
it's hard to get into this, and we're gonna leave somebody out and feel like dicks.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
What helps us is just these names you're throwing out there. It's like we'll start paying attention to them, and
if you're gonna see
eventually,
bands
hopefully,
like
they'll come around. We'll see them.
on their show, or on see their show.
Exactly.
Dunamis and Cherry Drop, and I'll just start, dropping bands that I can think of that we're playing with.
And like that's the community
Freaking A.
part of it too. Is like there's always new bands coming up too, and when they're like people that it's like dude, we'll fucking put a bill together. You know what I mean?
It's
and
incredible. It makes the night that much better.
Then, it's show swapping. That's awesome.
Or just partying with your friends, and everybody's
That's what
just there for it.
That's what I feel like, honestly.
Bars just let us have our friends' parties there.
Yes, I love it.
It's just
I
like
love
one
it.
big fucking
yeah,
house
it's
party.
awesome, and that's just that's the music scene in Detroit.
Yeah, and all of the garage rock bands up there are fucking amazing too. Like Towheads, Jared mentioned Towheads. Those guys,
Towheads.
They're phenomenal. The Stools have been gaining like a lot of traction. They kind of went on a hiatus for a little while, but I think they're coming back. And
playing their first show.
And all of those bands, like they're all intertwined with each other. They all play in bands together. And I don't know. I really like. I don't know if they play much. They only play maybe like 1 or 2 shows a year. But the band Brenda, I love
Brenda.
Yeah,
I think
Brenda
those
is
guys are
dope.
fucking awesome.
Brenda is fucking.
I've seen-
You're thinking of
Brenna. I'm thinking of Brenna. There's another band on the west side called Brenna.
but they're a cover band. But
Correct.
These guys.
Yeah, I was
guys
gonna say,
are-
how would you know them?
They're just
Brenda.
called Brenda, and they do originals, and it's really it's a very original music. They write really good songs.
Yep. If you're ever trying to like check bands out, Lisa she runs a YouTube channel called Vision Immortal, and every single band that you could think of in the city of Detroit is on that channel.
Yeah, I think she posts a video almost every single day.
Her YouTube channel is Vision Immortal, and you guys should check that out. Her name's Lisa.
Okay, yeah.
Her partner Lucas' son is in a band called Cherry Drop, and they're a band to look out for too. They're badass.
Then you got, man, I'd go on forever.
That's what I'm saying.
Ack, Market,
Tinfoil,
all those Outer Limits bands, like they're all insanely cool.
Timmy's Organism.
Yeah. I mean, how do you not mention Timmy?
Yeah.
Heck
This is
yeah.
awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, there's so much. I mean, we've discovered so much music in the last couple of years, but it's endless. And you guys just threw out a handful more that we haven't even heard of, and it's just ongoing. It's awesome. And like you guys said, the Michigan scene is amazing.
It is.
The Fresh Coast.
Detroit sounds like it's.
And speaking of, a little while ago, you were talking about leaving it all on stage, or going all out. When you're having shows with your friends and all this. And I was remembering back to the last time we saw you guys, where I have to ask, how many times has Earl gone off stage and onto the floor into the pit with his guitar? I would love to hear that was the first time it happened, but I can't imagine it was the first time it happened.
Oh, dude, I
think he likes playing on floors more than he likes playing on stages.
I don't like being put on a pedestal. I like just being eye to eye with people, for sure. I like to lock eyes with like a lit exit sign, or like the first person I see, and that's like who I'm playing for all night.
I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Do you guys mind if we talk about gear at all a little bit?
Oh, dude, please ask. Talk it up.
I was curious, so Earl, you have like this, like, it's funny. Like, I think the song "Sirens" was the first song I heard of your guys's. In seeing you play and listening to your music, I feel like I hear the siren type sound in a lot of your guitar work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like that is I guess
don't give away all your secrets.
I don't want to melt the pot too much, but like I like delay and like a slapback delay. Like if Scotty Moore and like Robbie Krieger like I don't know, like Scotty Moore, the guitar player for Elvis, how he always had that like slapback delay.
Okay.
And but it would never trail. It was just like a couple slaps and that was it. I like the really traily stuff. So
Do a little something different, yeah.
Yeah, but also when the music's over, that first crescendo out of the song, like that tone that Robbie gets out of his amp, that is like the fucking tone. And I always say Robbie Krieger's guitar sounds like a pissed off cat in an alley. It's always like, wow, wow, like really cool stuff. So I try to incorporate, because what I listen to is not a reflection of what I play.
You listen to a lot of different weird stuff.
I
think we all do.
Yeah, we're a very eclectic band, music-wise. We can get into anything. Like the first Corktown show we played at Detroit, I walk out to the van, and I can hear Many Men by 50 Cent just getting fucking blasted in the air. And I go out to the van, and it's Jared just like at the fucking steering wheel. He's like, no, he's like rapping every single lyric to this song. And I've never, you know what I mean? I've never heard him say anything of that order. And I'm like, man, what are you doing? He's like, I'm getting hyped, close the door.
I sent him a song the other day, and he responded with, bro, you are in the trenches this morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
man.
7 o'clock in the morning, dude. And he's just like, he's listening to the most egregious gangbanger music. And I'm here for it. I really am. But Jared, you look at him, and it's like, man, all right, I'm here for it. But gear-wise, I've been blessed to have a bunch of cool gear, and a lot of it I didn't have to pay for. A lot of it's just trading up, because I can speak for myself. You know, we're of modest means. You know what I mean? So all the gear that we get is kind of we
secondhand
used.
Casey's got to fix it for us.
Yeah, exactly. Casey's, and it helps when you have a tech in the band, because you can get a cool piece of gear that doesn't work. And then by the time you come to practice, Casey's got not only a cab built for it, but it works brand new. But I went through...
Replaced your preamp too.
Yeah, so a couple different Sun amps that I've gone through. Right now is Sun Solaris, late 60s model. But yeah, a lot of it comes out of the... I guess if I had to put a finger on my tone... or the sound, I would try to be like a Frank Frazetta painting. You know what I mean? You see like the Trooper and all those old comic book paintings that he would do, or like a heavy metal. And that's what I like to have my guitar sound like. I want to like a herd of war elephants just going through over the mountains. You know what I mean? Coming down. Yeah. But the Siren song, these guys had already written Sirens. So when I hear the sound or the song Sirens and what they were singing, to me, I'm on like a fucking boat. Like I'm a whaler, dude. I might into the screw. I already don't want to be here. You know what I mean? And you start hearing the bow, bow. So in my head, I try to paint a picture. So when I was playing guitar in that, my idea was like those guitar strikes on Sirens is thunder. And you're kind of, Jared's bass is the rocking of the ship. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
pretty expressive.
So I go all out, dude. Like I can... our song Melancholia, the guitar parts in that, I always was like, to me, it's like an alien invasion of Earth. And when the guitar gets heavy, you can actually listen to Melancholia when you go back to this. I'm trying to make the guitar sound like a siren. Like it's like you hear like an alert siren. Yeah, like a tornado siren. And that is the aliens leaving the megaship, and right after that siren, you hear the staccato picking, and that's just them blasting the fuck out of us, dude.
Oh my gosh, I love it even more now.
Yeah, and the Prowl, all those guitar songs, like the Prowl guitar, that's like when I say Frank Frazetta, that's the Trooper painting. That's him on a horse hopping along, you know. He's got like some badass maiden on his shoulder. But that's the tone, man.
Dude, he's hitting exactly what we talked about. This is a long time ago. We talked with Ladder Match. I was like, at one point, I was like, you know, why don't they have like trailers for albums or music? Like, this is or about the song. Like it somehow promotes what the song is about. Because a lot of people don't have a clue.
The imagery,
what you just said,
everything
you want to sing.
Yes,
listen.
Exactly. If there was like a 30-second trailer of things related to what you just said, I'd be like, I'm so listening to this album.
We should probably do that for the next one.
Yeah, if our budget,
you can even just use AI, like video generated AI prompted to create this craziness, so you don't got to like actually record it. That'd be sweet.
But yes, but anyway, the gear that we use.
Continue on gear.
The stuff that Earl uses, the cabinet, the speaker cabinet that he uses it's a trainer cabinet. It was a 215 cabinet, and I got it on, I think I bought it for like
Marketplace or something.
I bought the amp head and the cabinet for like $120. I sold the amp head. Who did I sell that?
Somebody on Reverb.
I sold the amp head on Reverb to Justin Mendel Johnson. He was the bass player for Beck. He produced.
Oh, sweet!
Yeah,
no way.
I sold him
That's
that.
random.
And then I traded the cabinet to Earl, and then I modified it so that instead of 215s, you could put 212s in. So it's pretty much an oversized 212 cabinet.
But don't tell anybody that. That's the
Everybody knows.
If anybody asks, I play through a bass amp, so I'm just sleazy about it.
And then his guitar, I'm constantly doing work on his guitar.
Yeah. What is this? What is the guitar?
So Mel is a 2011. So I'm done. I'm coming out of this facade that I've been living in.
Oh no.
So I've been bum rushed by a couple different sound guys, and they're like, "Man, you fucking love your vintage gear, dude. Like, what's that, a '60s?" And I'm like,
he lies.
Well, to my defense, I've got so many different things going in my brain because I'm playing gear that's cobbled together, and it's been times when my gear didn't work. You know what I mean? So that's always in the back of my mind. And so when these guys are like, "What is that, a 60 something?" I'm like, 66, and and it's not. It's a 2011 Melody Maker that is like literally the cheapest Gibson that I always said that I would never have a Gibson, but
me too.
Well,
now he's a gatekeeper.
I'm not a gatekeeper. Well, my problem with Gibson and Gibson owners is that
they're lawyers,
they're
doctors.
The build quality of Gibson guitars is pretty much that of an Epiphone. It's
kind of shaky.
It's hit or miss. You can find a good one, and it's made really well. But all the custom shops are really nice. But who can afford a custom shop?
Yeah.
So my quarrel with the Gibson owners is that they baby them. You can tell a Gibson owner when you see them because they don't sweat on the guitars.
Yeah.
They don't. They're just super. They just, I don't know, act like it's a newborn child or something. And so when I got mine was through a trade. I traded a Vox for it. But it had just a single Gibson humbucker that someone had put in there, a single volume knob, and it means the world to me, but I got it for nothing. So if it was broken tomorrow, I'd go back to playing whatever. But
I swapped the pickup on it. I put a P90 pickup in it and recut a whole pickup for it. Installed new electronics, routed out a electronics cavity in the back of it.
Yep. So
installed a tremolo.
We've got it to stock, kind of. So it does look like a '60s Melody Maker. But I fell in love with her, dude. Like it's like it's like its own person now. Like when I say my guitar, I say Mel and this and that.
Mel.
And it's not like you would think. It's not like some controlling boyfriend. It's actually named for Mel Gibson. You know what I mean? So
I thought it was because it's a melody maker. Now.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a melody maker and it's a Gibson. So it looks like Mad Max and the Road Warrior.
It does kind of look like
that.
Yeah, it does look like a Mad Max.
I dig it.
And that's the vibe. Like, so I don't take good care of it. I really don't. But
it's a fucking.
Is that why Casey's always fixing it up?
Yeah, I'm so blessed to have Casey because he literally, like, I don't know what I do. I change my strings every time we play because I sweat so much on it, and the strings will just pop right off. And like I said, you change the string so much, you need to set up every now and again because it just doesn't work or it sounds out of tune all the time or something. But yeah, Casey's the guy.
Yeah.
What kind of strings do you like?
I tell people that I play GHS because I want a sponsorship from them.
Yeah.
But
Here's how you get one right here by
plays
saying
whatever
you don't
does
play
it
the
first.
yeah, but I found that D'Addario, the NYXL strings are
Yep.
really good. They hold up after just they hold up a lot longer than any string that I've messed with. But like I said, I sweat, dude. I'm a big dude, so I'm out there just
What gauge
sweating.
do you play?
I play
10s or are they 9s?
52 to 10 is my gauge.
So medium.
Yeah.
Medium light.
Yeah. Cool.
I fucked around with some 9.5s. I'm known to fuck around with some 9.5s.
Ooh.
He's known
You
to
know what
fuck
I mean?
around with whatever strings.
Yeah, whatever one of the two of us gives him because he doesn't. Anybody
Yeah.
got
When I asked him,
we actually broke a string in the studio, and I just used a string out of an Ernie ball pack and just threw it on there. And
I thought you were.
like a G
I
string.
thought you were gonna say that you buy the Amazon Basic guitar strings.
They
if
make
you send me a
guitar
link,
strings?
yeah,
I have no idea. I just threw it out there hoping maybe they do. I have no idea.
No, yeah, I actually almost got scammed into buying some guitar strings at Walmart the other day.
No,
Walmart.
They're $7, and I just needed a pack really bad, and Dickerson's wasn't open, so I was like, oh,
strings.
I don't know. They weren't even brand. They were like the Walmart brand.
Oh my gosh, some Costco Kirkland
Yeah.
brand guitar strings.
Yeah, as long as I can get one play out of them, that's all I really care about. Like today, we were playing with practice, and I thought I was going to break a string, but I just put those strings on the last show that we had. So when I was a youngin', I never changed my strings. I feel gross about it
I
now.
broke a string.
I would be cutting myself on grub and everything else. It was nasty, dude.
Getting
And I-
tetanus.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was
Gee.
not. Look, now I kind of take a little bit of if I'm gonna beat my guitar up, I might as well have some good strings on it.
Yeah, for sure. Jared, what about you? What do you got for a bass?
I don't know, revolving door of basses and amps until I figure out which one I like, and then
Oh, so
I like that doesn't break down on me every single time I play it.
Yeah.
uh-oh.
I like my go-to head is a Music Man 75 that I got from Earl actually, and then a Music Man 115 cabinet to go with it. That's what I'll take to the studio, and that's what
Yeah.
I'll start practicing with here shortly, just to get the studio sound right. But when we go out, I take the Road Dog, just the PV bass, and then Casey's got a 215 cabinet that he lugs around for me.
It's yours now.
No.
I've
I've got a 215 cabinet. It's a really bad. It's a Road Dog. It's a badass rig. I couldn't think of a better, live rig for
It's symmetric
for
too.
bass. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good next to. It's a little bit bigger than Earl's rig too, so that's important.
Yeah.
And then I just picked up like a 2010s Gibson SG bass guitar. Which has been a long time coming. I've kind of been holding out. I have a 65 Epiphone Newport at home that I'm too much of a chicken shit to take out and play because I'm afraid it'll get broken. I said
Aw.
that the last time I played it, I dove down into the crowd and started smacking people with it. So yeah, I've just recently landed on the Gibson. I love it. It's great. I don't foresee myself ever making a change, and then plus, not to mention, double SGs on stage looks badass. So
Symmetry.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
And
awesome.
And that bass guitar has a pickup that I installed.
Casey put a pickup in it for me, a different pickup.
It's the DiMarzio, the Model 1.
Model 1, yeah.
It's the same size as the regular.
The Mudbucker.
They call it the Mudbucker, the Gibson Mudbucker. But the problem with the Gibson Mudbucker is that it's just so it sounds good if you're in a studio, but when you're on stage and you're running fuzz and stuff through it, it's just so much feedback. It's almost uncontrollable.
Squeals like a pig.
So DiMarzio makes a drop-in pickup for that. That's a true humbucker pickup, and you're able to control it a lot more. It sounds a little bit better. It's more predictable.
Cool. Awesome. Well, then that leaves us with Casey. What do you have in your kit?
Oh, my cobbled together kit.
Trash drums.
Yeah. So
Trash cans.
yeah, some of them did come from the dump actually.
Don't give away his tonal secrets.
So yeah, the The kick drum that I use is a Yamaha. It's a 26-inch marching band bass drum, and then I just put the adapter feet on it.
What?
And I just run it. It's pretty much wide open. I don't put anything inside of it. I don't have a hole in the front. It's all, sealed. And then
Wow, I didn't realize it. Dang.
Yep. And then the snare that I use is a 1965 Ludwig Acrolite. I don't even remember where I got that.
You found it in your basement, as
Yeah,
far
I
as
found
know.
somebody gave me a whole bunch of drum stuff, and I can't remember.
Was that Drew's? At
No,
one point?
no. And somebody was like, "Here, have a bunch of drum stuff," and it had a snare drum, and I never thought about it because I didn't play the drums at the time. And then when I started playing the drums, I dug up a bunch of drum stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a pretty cool looking snare drum." Turns out it's a '65 Ludwig Acrolite. It's like the most iconic snare drum. It's on like all of the Motown records, like all of the classic rock albums. So
It's a good fucking drum.
and then the toms that I have, those are they were originally marching band toms. There was 3. There was a 14, a 16, and an 18, and they were open on the bottom. Well, I took the 14 and the 16, and I cut the 14 down so it was 14 by 9, and then I cut the 16 so it's 16 inches by 12 inches deep. And then I recut the bearing edge, beveled them all, and installed all the hardware, and basically made toms out of old marching band drums from the dump.
Jeez.
My dad pulled them out of the dump.
Oh
But
my
those-
gosh.
They're amazing sounding drums. I mean, you could make any drum sound good as long as you have good hardware and good heads on it. And then the cymbals that I use are the Peisty Giant Beat, the John Bonham cymbals.
For sure.
Sweet.
It's just a awesome combination, a 4-piece kit with the Peisty cymbals. You can't go wrong with it. The big 26-inch kick. I mean,
Definitely
I wouldn't
not.
want to play through any other kick drum, to be honest. Like, it just feels.
Yeah, it's a nice drum.
When you're playing with a kick drum that big, it has more of a slap back. So it's like super, super bouncy. So like other people will play through it and they're like, "Man, I don't know how you play that thing." It's like, it just bounces. It bounces a lot more. It's like if you were to overinflate a basketball, that's what it's like. Opposed to like some of these backline kits that I played on, and it's like just super dead. There's no recoil.
Yeah.
So I like all my drums wide open. I don't put anything on them. I tune them up.
Huh.
I want them to project, and I want them to be loud. So I don't see the point of putting.
You accomplished that.
Yeah.
I don't see the point of putting the gel things on or nothing.
No. Did a good job. It gives you your sound, the carbon decoy sound. I feel like I attribute some of it to the drums.
Yeah, it's just big, wide open, loud. Yeah.
Cool.
So Casey, you hit on that you didn't used to play the drums. So did you play other instruments prior in different projects?
So the last band that Earl and I were in, like he was saying, is Unknown Crow. I played rhythm guitar and sang in that band.
Okay.
And so like Earl and I already had kind of like we would bounce off of each other. Towards the end of it, I did start to do more guitar solos, but for the most part, it was like me pretty much doing rhythm and Earl playing leads. And it wasn't until, Jared and I got together that I started playing drums.
Well, your first was you were a drummer.
Yeah, the first band that I played in, it was a 2-piece band, and I played drums. That lasted for about 6 months. But, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a drummer at that point. Like, I was terrible on the drums. Like, I think I could probably, back then I could, like, fake it, and it would sound good enough.
Good enough.
Like, there's a band there was a band that was based out of Kalamazoo, Coldwater area. They're called the Hemingers. They're a punk band, garage punk band. And they came through and they played a local show, and I saw them play, and it was like all the fucking music that I love, just awesome, in-your-face garage rock, like kind of like the frat rock, 60s frat rock shit, but just like high octane. And I told those guys, at the time, I was doing a one-man band thing where I'd play kick drum, hi-hat, and guitar and harmonica. But so I played a show with them, and I told them, I was like, man, if you guys ever need a drummer, let me know. I could totally play drums for you. I was drunk. I didn't know what I was talking about. And then we played another show, and I told them the same thing. And then like a few months later, they got a hold of me, and they were like, hey, we're going on a tour. We're driving across the U.S., and our drummer can't play the last half of the tour. Would you be interested in that? And I was like, fuck yeah. Yeah, I got myself
drums.
Shit. Because I was like, oh, fuck. I practiced with them twice, and then the first show that I played with them was in Austin, Texas. And I was so fucking nervous, I puked before we played.
Ooh, yeah.
I dropped a stick. And dude, they just play so fast that it's like, I'm like, man, what the fuck am I doing here? But then by the end of the tour, by the end of all the shows, like, I felt like I was a drummer. I started picking up on it, and I started getting a lot better at it. And then, it'd been some time, a few years passed in between that and the band now. But, yeah, I didn't really actually become a drummer until just like 3 years ago. Cool. So that's why it's all pretty simple. Like, I don't do a lot of flashy fills and stuff. Yeah. Not because
I feel like
it's not because I don't want to do flashy fills. I wish I could do that stuff. It's because I just don't know how.
Well, I feel like your drum style just like melds the like we're taking in what you're putting out, and if you had anything other than what you do already, this would be a different thing. I feel like what you're drumming like fits the Carbon Decoy stuff, and I know maybe the sound evolves over time, and you do add this, that, or upgrade this, and then you start learning this, and then before you know it, you are like the crazy fills here and there, like whatever. But
yeah,
I guess what I'm saying is I love it. I love the sound of the drums in the bass.
Yeah, it's definitely it's been progressing, and I feel like a lot of that is because like when we started this band, it was like we didn't really know what we were going to do or how we were going to do it. We just went for it, and I feel like that's how you end up with like the best kind of music is. You don't know how you're going to go about it. You don't have any idea of what you're going to make. You just know that you want to make music. So whatever comes out is just what comes out. And
that was actually a question that I usually have in my head when we go to interview a band. And I usually, if I ask it, it's at the beginning. But I'll ask it now, even though you kind of gave the answer. When you guys kind of came together, all three, and you started doing stuff, did you have a sound in mind that you were trying to achieve, or did you just get together, start playing, and what came out was Carbon Decoy, and you just kind of kept going? Like it can happen both ways for sure, and it's just an interesting thing. But it sounds like
at the time when Jared and I
me
started,
and Casey were heavy listening to stoner rock.
Yeah,
obviously you can hear that.
Sludge metal,
a lot of like Melvins. A lot of like Monolord and Electric Wizard and Wind Hand. And
I really like a band called Graveyard.
Stone Jesus.
Okay. Yeah.
So like we were listening to a lot of that music, the stoner, the doom, the sludge stuff. So I mean there was
all them witches.
A lot, all them witches.
All them witches for sure.
Oh yeah.
So
I love all them witches.
A lot of influence from that type of music going into it.
But I don't think we didn't approach it like, hey, let's write stoner rock. It was like that was just the music we both were into, and so that was kind of
the vibe
where we went. Yeah, that was just the vibe. That was like the general.
And then you add Earl into the mix, and he just adds something like completely different and expressive. So,
how was the transition from 2 to 3? So we've seen a lot more bands, and I don't know if this is a new trend or just my eyes are open to looking at it, but a lot more trend were two-man bands. I feel like that's happening more and more. So how was that transition when you guys started with 2? That was your kind of initial thought, and you brought Earl in. How did that transition? Was it just a natural flow, or?
The only hard part about going from a 2-piece to a 3-piece is scheduling with 3 people instead of 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
The music was almost kind of came seamless. Like the 3 of us just, one, Earl already knew what Casey and I were doing. 2, Earl and Casey had already played together, and 3 we're just all just on the same page with what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the only hard part has been scheduling with 3 people instead of 2.
Makes
I
sense.
think that's the hardest part with
good.
any band, though.
That might be why people are starting 2-piece bands.
Yeah, it's a lot easier.
Finding musicians and then scheduling with those musicians.
Right.
Plus, you can go. You can travel light too. Like you got 2 people in a band, you can take a car to a show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You don't got to have
Yeah.
a big band or
Safari.
anything.
But yeah, if you're going to be in a successful band, you definitely have to get on a good practice schedule, and you definitely have to you have to work together. It's
You
a
gotta
team.
wanna
It's a
do it.
team effort.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Definitely.
So, as we're kind of wrapping up here, can you guys update us on anything you have currently going on or in the near future that anybody could be looking forward to from Carbon Decoy?
Well, I don't know when you guys are going to post this, but we got Fuzz Fest coming up this weekend, and that's what day is that on?
August 24th, Saturday, August 24th.
Yep.
We're headlining Fuzz Fest this year.
Headline and
We'll
Fuzz Fest.
we'll go share the social medias for that for sure.
Yeah, we'll try to get that
Yeah.
out quick.
You said September 1.
Yeah, we're definitely doing it. The run is still in the process of being planned. We're hitting Milwaukee. We're playing the Cactus Club in Milwaukee on September 12th with
Nice.
Zang and Astral Hand.
Ooh.
We kind of hit a little bit of bad luck putting together our Chicago show for September 13th, but we'll get it worked out. We'll figure it out. Whether we are plugged into a power adapter out of the van and making noise and street somewhere or whatever we got to do.
Casey will figure it out.
Yeah,
Right.
and then we're going to wrap it up in Fort Wayne with our buddies in Squirrel Cage. And we're playing a party they're throwing down there called Squirrel Fest.
Okay.
Cool.
That's our September.
Yep, and then another big one that we have coming up that I'm definitely looking forward to is the gig.
Yeah.
It's a show it's a event that Chuck Marshall is putting together. He's calling it Gig, and it's basically to commemorate all of the photographers that do a lot of the band photography that go to shows and do a lot of that, and then artists that do show posters and stuff. So
Yep. That's
We-
in Jackson.
Awesome.
yeah, what do you remember?
I think
what
it's
day it is?
October. I think it's not October. November 9th, I believe,
Yeah.
is the day that we're playing. It's that whole weekend. It's going to be going on
Okay.
Friday to Sunday.
I like it.
Sweet.
That
really
sounds
good.
badass.
Yeah, like Casey said, it's Chuck Marshall doing it, so that in itself tells you to get to the gig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to be displaying different photographers' artwork that they've done. Different shots of bands that they've taken, and there's something like 15 or 20 photographers and artists.
I know Sydney will be there.
Yeah.
Sydney Bunden, out of Detroit. She's the one. She's the reason we look so cool on the internet.
Yeah.
Chuck, I mean, for real.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's really cool because that's a thing that a lot of people, it's underappreciated or people don't really realize what's happening, and there's people are busting their ass to make that happen.
That's
With
right.
all these shows.
Yeah, the live music photographers, they definitely give a whole. I mean, you see that and it's like, oh, those guys look fucking cool. I want to go and see them.
Yeah.
So it really adds to the success of bands. So they're a big part of that, the music scene. So,
all right, where can people check you guys out at? All the streaming platforms.
All
What's
the
your
main
website?
places, really, yeah. Most active on Instagram. That's probably where we do 80% of our interaction with the outside world. We have a Facebook page, but you can just set Instagram and you're going to see what you see on Facebook too.
And we're on Spotify.
Yeah, all the streaming sites.
YouTube Music, Bandcamp.
Yep.
We have our record for sale actually on Bandcamp. So if anybody's interested in buying a vinyl record, get over to Bandcamp.
Yep, I'll ship it to
I
you.
own one myself. Yeah. Jeff and I both own it. Yeah, we
got
both
one at
have
the
it.
last
And
show.
it plays fantastic. So good job on putting the effort into the wax
Archer
for a
Records.
record.
Yeah.
Yep.
Archer Records in Detroit pressed it for us.
Okay.
Sweet.
There's a
Cool.
really cool insert inside in the record that Casey did up. It tells all about it. You know,
Yep.
we recorded at Temper Mill Studios in Ferndale with Eric and Dave Feeney, and so yeah, hop on Bandcamp, buy a record.
And be prepared because by next spring we'll have another record out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is the goal to release that on vinyl as well?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're already
I know it's expensive. I know it's not cheap. And
That's why we play all these shows.
Yeah.
And that's why we
Yeah.
need people to buy merch and buy these other records so that we can now, pay for the next one.
Yep. All the shows that we play and all the merch that we sell, they all go towards putting out the next record.
Directly to the next record.
Yeah. Awesome. Are you guys gonna it's gonna I know we're wrapping up, but are you guys gonna like put out a couple singles or whatever, or how's your guys' strategy on releasing music?
That's what we did the first time around. But that was partly because it took us so long to get it out because we had to come up with the money to press it. So we had to, bridge the gap time wise. I don't know. I would say we will most likely put out a single.
We've talked about it.
Yeah. Nothing's set in stone about the way we're going to do it, but
It would be cool to see a 7-inch.
yeah. I don't know if the 7-inch is going to happen. That's that much more money.
You guys also did the Dogtown Studios session, so that was a good thing to fill the gap as well. I thought those were fantastic. Those were freaking badass, guys. Those fit the vibe of Carbon
We
Decoy.
did a lathe cut for those
Yeah.
instead of pressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
But yeah, maybe we'll get another session video in there before we release the album.
Yeah.
Do all new songs that are going to be on the album. So
Yeah.
Yeah. We had Robbie Fisher on an episode
Yeah,
just a few episodes ago. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. Really.
He's such a good
He's
such a good
chill.
dude.
Yeah, him and Tito are awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't get to meet Tito,
No.
but we heard all about him.
He's still working with him. He might be.
I don't know if this
Yeah,
will
they're
work.
still, he said they're still doing stuff. He's just not 100%. It's not like he's not 100% on it all the time.
Real quick before we wrap up or whatever, just a little
Tito roasting.
a little funny ass thing that happened to us as a band is like when we were still a fledgling band.
We went and did the Dogtown.
Yeah, we went and did Dogtown, and they're like got the cans on and they're listening back, and they're like trying to figure out where to sync the audio at and the video at, and they're figuring out what parts of the song are which. And Tito looks over at Robbie and like lifts a can, and he's like, "Is this what they call a solo?" And we're like, dude, just a feet over.
roasted
I'm like, wow.
It's not how what he was trying to say. He was like trying to confirm that part was the solo part. But the way
And he sounded like he had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah, he's like,
is this what they call a solo? Like, these guys are.
no, yeah.
Are these guys
But
plugged
It
in?
was funny. It was really funny.
I'll never forget it.
No, it's kind of like an inside joke too. Like we'll be in an area or something like that, and I'll play a sleazy part on a song, and one of these guys will say that.
Is that what
and
you call
Is that what you call a solo?
Is that what you call a solo?
Dude,
gonna
I
start
swear,
saying that.
it's like that. I was like, oh man.
Roasted.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Well, good stuff, guys.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks
You
for
guys
having
rock.
us.
Thanks,
Glad
Jeff and
we
Ryan.
finally made it happen.
Yeah, it's cool to be on this podcast. I've actually been listening to you guys for a few months now.
Yeah, that's awesome. We appreciate
Actually,
it.
yeah, over a year now. Listening to you guys' podcast at work all the time. So I got you guys. I follow you guys. So when you guys put a new one out, little blue dot tells me.
Perfect. We love it.
We're doing a live stream
Wednesday.
Wednesday night.
So Wednesday of this week, we're doing a live stream, and then we'll release that as Thursday's episode. Thursday, we would release every other Thursday, twice a month.
Yep.
We release an episode. So,
Nice.
Yeah. I'm
so then we will get you guys in after that. After that one,
finally.
What's that?
I said I'm glad to be on the podcast finally. This is awesome.
Yeah. Now
We
you
are
get to
glad
hear.
you are.
Now you get to hear yourself back when you're
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool.
If you enjoyed this episode, check out more episodes on any streaming platform out there today, as well as our website,
www.themittenmusic.com.
where you also find playlists and much, much more about the Michigan music scene.
And
check out our social media. We got a Facebook, we got Instagram, and we got a TikTok.
Check out those reels and videos, those little shorts, posts to keep up on Michigan.